Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Eve Beginnings with me, Calum. We have another informative episode ahead of us. I tell you how I finished my epic arc with the meta level modules that I've selected, then dive into what to do next after you're done with it all. Remember, Eve is a sandbox game, and whatever I tell you might not be what's right for you, but it's just my way to tackle it. This episode, and for the next few days, I will be focusing on ISK generation to fund my PvP up ahead. More on that later. So as it turns out, one of these missions finally kicked my ass. So I'm going to tell you which one. It's called Burning Down the Hive right here. And what happened was my Incursus was scrammed and I couldn't get away. So once they stop scramming, that's when you know it's a little more dangerous. So having to buy a new ship, I went to Dodixie, which is not that far away. Dodixie is right here. Is about 4 jumps away, and Dodixie is the best place, 5 jumps away. It's the best place to really get new ships and whatnot because it's a marketplace. So I just want to show you my fit for a sec that I chose. Now that I had to buy my stuff from scratch, I spent about 3 million, to a little less, 2.2 maybe. Yeah, 2.2 million on this fit. So I just want to show you what it was. Missiles, and then we have afterburner so that I can speed tank because I don't have any active healing tanks here. I don't have any shield repair mumbo jumbo, so I have to deal with resistance bonuses. So I have an adaptive invulnerability field, which certainly similar to the damage control kind of gives me across the board damage resistance for my shields. So watch. So when I turn on my damage resistance, oh, I'm cloaked right now. Turn on my damage resistance. You'll notice that all of my resistance is increased. Turn on the invulnerability portion, and one more time it increased. So basically, what I'm trying to do here is just have enough resistances and enough top speed that I can really take a lot less damage from the drones that killed me the first time. And so down in the bottom, I have a gyro stabilizer, or in this case, I bought a Meta 4 version. So let me talk a little bit about meta levels right now. So if you go down, you see it says right here meta 4. So each of the basic weapons, so this is the basic one, kind of like a level 1 basic. Well, you can see that it says meta 0. Actually, it doesn't even say. So that's how you know it's meta 0. And then when you go to the next one, it's meta 1 and whatnot. So it's slightly more powerful. So let me just, if I can see. Let's do that. As you can see, the damage modifier here is 1.07. This was 1.077. And if we go to mine, which is the meta level 4, oopsie daisy. I guess I'll open that. So from the original level 1 to the level 4, 1.098. So that's the extra. So this obviously cost me a little bit extra. I think it's worth it because it'll raise my damage. Yeah, my damage is 58 DPS right now, which is really nothing to write home about. But you know, we're still beginning right now. And the last one is a coprocessor. Without the coprocessor, I couldn't put on this extra shield tank. This is a shield extender. So this is a meta level 4 of the small shield extender. So small shield extender gives me an additional 188 hit points for shield right here. But because I have the meta level 4, it now gives me 225 instead. And so that's added to my shield hit points. So the idea here is that I have a lot more shield hit points than I have armor. And then I raise my resistances through these 2 modules so that I take a lot less damage from my shields. And then I speed tank it. So hopefully I'll take less damage by using my afterburner. Alright, on to beating the mission. Wish me luck. Alright, so I just finished my Sisters of Eve Epic Arc quests. I have about 9.5 mil, and this is the ship I finished it in. I was using the, what was that, the Rifter for a while, but it really stopped being, any frigate would stop being effective after a while. So you kind of have to upgrade to a destroyer. So here's the final fit of my destroyer. It's a 7 of the Scout autocannon guns, which is basically a meta 3 level gun. So don't forget to actually get the meta level weapons, as well as a meta level 3 rocket launcher. Then I have a shield extender. This is a meta level 4 one. This is just a regular adaptive invulnerability field. These I already showed you from last time. So it's very similar in the fit, except this one will have more HP here. And I did equip a micro warp drive just so I could gain speed on some of the NPCs faster than usual. Also, what I did is I also consolidated all my assets. I used to have a lot of assets in Colster where I first started, but I was able to sell all the ships that I could from there. And I also went around to my other things. So basically, sometimes here I bought a book by accident. I'm just gonna trash it since I don't plan on going there just for a book. Okay, so we want to have a pretty. I'm gonna delete all these newbie ships. We want to have a clean wallet, I guess, because we don't want everything spread out everywhere. And the reason for that is because why would you? You're most likely never going back to some of these systems, so I generally just keep my stuff in main market areas, though Dixie being one of the main market areas, because I know I'll eventually, in my span as a gamer, come back to Do Dixie at one time or another. And so having things spread across the universe everywhere just makes everything inaccessible. You're better off selling it as ISK, get your ISK back now, and then respend it later if you need to rebuy it. The only ships I did keep though, I kept my PvP ships, so I kept my Atron and my Imicus, which I'll talk a little bit about after this. I kept obviously my Callus is still there, my Navitas. I plan on moving these eventually. It's just right now a little bit at a time. Slow and steady wins the race. So and I sold a bunch, and I got a bunch of monies. I still have 9.5 mil because I spent a lot of the money on this ship. Now this ship was a freebie, if you remember. It's a freebie that I got from the missions. The scanning exploration missions was the Imicus. Just a little reminder here, a little bit about the Imicus is that it gives me bonuses to core probing. Right here, 7.5% to core and combat scanner strength per Galente frigate. So I have three levels. I had 3 levels in it, I believe. Let me see. Galente frigate, 2 levels. Okay, so I have 2 levels in it, and so it gives me 15% core bonus to my combat scanners, as well as 5% bonus. Plus 5 to my relic and data analyzer virus check. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm showing you I keep pressing the wrong button, but I'm trying to show you that this is the main way I'm gonna make money from now. So just to recap a little bit, we just finished our 4th day. We finished all of our tutorials, all of our career tutorials, and then all of our epic arc for the first major epic arc, which is the Sisters of Eve epic arc. And now that we're done with that, what's next? That's the real big question. So in my opinion, what's next should be getting a little bit of extra income so you could afford to lose the ships that you're gonna lose when you go in PvP. We don't want to throw ourselves straight into PvP with no funding because, I mean, we only have 9.5 million right now to really work with. That's about maybe 3 ships in PvP. We'll lose that in 10 seconds or less. And so in order to prepare ourselves for the eventual losses that we're going to take, we should really try our best to get a little bit of a cushion. Now, there's many ways to do this. I'm going to show you 2 ways, 2 of the ways that I approve, and I'll tell you why I approve of those 2 ways. You could do many things such as mining, trading, or moving courier contracts and whatnot, but I don't like those as much because they require you to learn skills that aren't really prevalent to PvP, like having extra levels in mining, for example, isn't really going to help my missiles hit any harder or my guns hit any truer, and so really I would like to advise you to avoid those. Now, going to missioning is a very good kind of path towards PvP because when you mission, we do security missions. These require you to target things, shoot things, orbit things, keep your distance to things, speed up to catch up to things, slow down to kite things. Basically, it teaches you all the basic concepts that you would have to know for PvP, and so it blends out really well. In order to do harder missions, you need bigger guns, which once again blends into PvP very, very well. So all of the things that you learn while you're missioning, you will use in combat, and vice versa. Although, again, PvE is obviously going to be a lot easier. And so you'll learn when you need to warp out, when it's time to try to get out. When it's obvious that you're not going to win the fight, because they have so much, I guess, PvE ships out there that you're just, maybe want to retreat a little bit. So it teaches you a lot of the basics of combat while you're doing security missions. So definitely approve of that, and the skills that you need are in line with what you need for PvP. The other thing that I recommend is exploration. Now, ever since post the Odyssey expansion, now I'm going to date this video now, it has been very, very fun to kind of explore. And also, what's the word? It pays. It pays well. It pays well. It encourages some PvP. It allows you to learn some scouting work, especially in a defensive way. And so that's why I recommend exploration as a second alternative. And I'm actually gonna, me personally, do exploration as my primary, only because missioning is kind of slow and steady work. Every time you finish a mission, you're gonna get ISK for completing a mission. You're gonna get bounties for killing the pirates, and you're gonna get loot if you spend the time. I don't really, as an older player, I don't spend time picking up every piece of loot because I know there are better ways to make money. But if you want to be nice and safe, you want to salvage everything, you want to loot everything. So that's how you make money missioning. And this is very slow and steady. So long as you finish the mission, you hand it in, you're going to get those things. The only issue is that's a little bit on the boring side. After a while, you're basically doing the same missions over and over again just for the sake of finishing them until you can reach the next level in terms of standings. Then you reach a level 2 agent and you do all the level 2 missions, and it's going to repeat once again. It's going to get repetitive, and then you can now do level 3. Now you do level 3, repetitive, blah blah blah, and then you get level 4. You get the point. The point here is that after a while, this kind of bores the player. I've done it before. I hate it. The only reason I still do it sometimes is for grinding the standings that I need to operate in high sec for my alt. Other than that, I'm not missioning for anything other than standings. I don't care how much money they pay me. I don't want to do it. The alternative here is exploration, which is a lot more fun. And let me explain why. Exploration in high sec kind of sucks because everybody's exploring high sec because it's so safe, quote unquote safe. And so there's really not much for us to see here in high sec. I might try for a little bit just to see, but most of the good stuff is in low sec and null sec. As a new player, I'm hesitant to say go dive into null sec, but really why not? There's only a few things that you do have to know before you dive into nullsec, but I will talk about those later on in future videos when I'm actually doing exploration. So exploration is a little bit more fun because it's variable. You're not guaranteed that money like you are with missioning. Instead, you kind of go from system to system looking for these cosmic signatures, and specifically anything that uses the data or the what is that called, the relic analyzer, I believe. So any of those that uses this tool that brings up the minigame, those are the ones that we're looking for. We're not looking to mine any cosmic signatures. We're not looking to harvest any gas. So we're only looking to play that minigame and kind of pick up the packages as appropriate and then sell them for money. And usually that's where we get a quick fix. We usually, if we're lucky and we find enough sites, we make a lot more money than missioning. And because it's a little bit more variable, it's a little bit more fun. However, make no mistake, it's a tiny bit more work as you have to constantly scan for your cosmic signatures. And so, but that's in terms of the money. Remember, I told you the money is not really the biggest thing. Experiences. So what you get from exploration is you get to, especially if you do the type that I'm going to do, which is low sec and no sec exploration, you're going to, one, learn to check out your enemies, learn to hide from your enemies. When you die while you're exploring, you kind of understand why you died. These people will kill you for anything. In low sec, you're a little bit safer, but in null sec, if they find you, they're going to try and kill you. So this kind of makes a one-sided battle where you're kind of always constantly running away. That, yes, it's a lamb to slaughter. However, another way to think about it is that you're actually learning how to survive. You're learning that maybe I shouldn't warp straight to the gate. Maybe I should use the tools at my disposal, tools that I will teach you in other videos, especially for our PvP Basics series, which I'm going to start probably at the same time as this series. We're going to learn about descanning, how that's going to save your life. We're going to learn about safe spots, how that's going to save your life. We're going to learn about logging off, when to log off. That could save your life. So there's a lot of things that you need to learn to kind of stay alive in Eve. And being a defensive ship with no weapons is one of the unfortunately the best way to learn how to do it. And even if you had weapons, it doesn't change the situation many. Usually in Eve, battles are you see the guy and you're like, oop, nope, don't want to take that fight, and you get the fuck out. Other times it's, oop,
wow, that guy is not prepared for me. I'm going to try to kill him right now. So usually most people know upon seeing the opposition whether or not they are going to get out or they're going to go commit, fight or flight response, right? And so there's rarely any fair fights in Eve. Almost every fight is going to be one-sided. And then surprises happen when people are forced to fight as opposed to getting a choice. Because in Eve you lose your ship, so if you are confronted with with an enemy that you know is going to be too powerful for you, the first thing you should think about is leaving. And so that's why there's generally there's a strong side and a weak side. So just keep that in mind. So at this point I want to tell you what I spent my money on. So I spent my money on, well, the core probe launcher I got for free, if you remember. I spent money on a cargo scanner so I could scan the packages before I go and hack it. So I kind of know which one is the most worth it to pick up because like I'll show you later in the minigame, once you finish, the package basically explodes into tiny little pieces and you have to kind of pick and choose which ones to pick up. And so if we get a head start on knowing which one's worth the most money, we could then pick up the ones that we need to first, and then whatever else is gravy. We have a micro warp drive, which is a fast way to get around. I'll explain a little bit later. Then we have a data analyzer because I do have the skill to use this, and then this one's for the the relic analyzer, which currently I do not have the skills to. So I'm currently training in 17 minutes. I'll finish my survey 3, and then I could train one level of the relic analyzer. So an important thing to note is that right now I don't actually have the skills of finish piloting the ship I want to pilot, so I'm not going to use it for now. I'm just showing you the fit. Then we have a damage control. We have a internal nanofiber internal structure, which basically speeds up my velocity so I can accelerate faster. And then this one is an inertia stabilizer, which increases my agility, which allows me to turn faster. So the only thing you need to know right now about these two is that they help me get into warp faster. Going into warp is a function of pointing at the right direction and then reaching 75% of your velocity before you enter warp. So this one helps me with my align time. I will align to where I need to go faster, and this one helps me achieve my 75% velocity faster. So the two of these is a good combo in my opinion, so that when I'm in trouble, I can warp out the fastest that I can. The rigs here, which is why it's really important to actually get jury rigging up, is a small mimic algorithm bank, which increases the efficiency of my data modules. That's these modules. And then I also have a small gravity capacitor upgrade, which basically increases my scan probe strength. So this is all geared towards probing down what I need to probe down faster. And all that I'm missing in this slot is going to be a cloak. I'm in the process right now learning CPU management 4, so I could get into a cloaking module, which will allow me to be safe while I'm scanning. So we will definitely go and revisit this next as soon as I get the skills. Probably take me a day to get the right skills, and that's okay because it'll allow me to show you how to get started in missioning. So we're going to switch back to our missioning ship, which is our trusty Thrasher with the following fit that I already showed you. I am dying to finish jerry rigging 3 so I could start putting rigs for this ship so I could boost the damage of this bad boy over here. So let me tell you a little bit about rigging. Rigging is the last equipment, I don't want to say equipment, but quote unquote equipment that you could put on your ship. Unlike these modules, which I can remove and put back, right? Just fit. Mods over here called rigs cannot be removed. So once you put it in, that's it. What I love about rigging your ship is that it makes every ship unique. This is my Thrasher. You know how they say, there are a lot of Thrashers, but this one is mine? Well, in actuality, this is wrong. There really are a lot of Thrashers. If I just go to view market, this guy has 25 on sale, this guy has 102, and there's nothing different between this one that I haven't bought yet and the one that I own. So what's going to make a difference is going to be my rigs. Once I put the rigs on, this Thrasher might have more shield points than the one that's on the market. This one might have a pack of gun with better tracking or better range or better damage than the ones that I haven't bought yet. So rigs make your ship unique, and so it makes one Thrasher different from the next, besides the fit that might change, but basically fundamentally changes the Thrasher. And so mods cannot be removed afterwards, okay? And I'm waiting to get jury rigging 3 ready in 7 hours so that I can then get on armor rigging or shield rigging or weapons rigging so that I can boost any of those things on my ship.
Alright, so let's talk about how to find out where to get your missions from and which ones you should do missions with. So to get the agent finder, just press Alt E, brings up peoples and places, go to agent tab, go to agent finder, and you'll get this nice little thing. You can pick a faction here, whichever faction you want to pick to do missions for. Generally I would suggest do them for the state, Kaldari State, Galente Federation, Amar Empire, things like that, Minamatar Republic. Because these will help you towards standings for the entire region that you live in, whichever one that you do live in. I'm going to go with Sisters of Eve because I would like to earn loyalty points. Now with all of these missions, you earn loyalty points which could be spent at loyalty point stores. And so at these LP stores, they have special items only those factions have. So for example, if I do Sisters of Eve missions, I'll get access to the Sisters of Eve LP store with Sisters of Eve special faction ships that I might not be able to get otherwise. Of course, this is EVE Online. Any ship that you want can definitely be purchased on the market. So there's tons of people who are doing these missions for you, getting the blueprints, making the ships, and then selling it to you for a significantly higher price. Really is up to you. So if I'm going to do any of the missions, I might as well do Sisters of Eve at this point. So clicking this, any corporation, I'm choosing security on purpose because I want to do only missions that will require me to upgrade my gunnery, my PvP skills. And then any region, I'm not very picky, any solar system, any security status. So what we're looking for is a level 1 security agent. Now the levels that you could do level 2 as well, but it really depends on your standings. Currently my Sister V standing is 1.03, which I believe gives me access to only level 1 missions. But you know what, let me see if this is going to work. Actually, I take it back. It seems like I can do level 2 with this. So I'm going to start at a level 2 mission. The progression really is level 1 is really, really, really easy. I can't stress it enough. You could do it in a frigate. Level 2, you probably need a destroyer. Level 3, definitely a cruiser or a battle cruiser. And level 4 is more of a battle cruiser, battleship type. And I've never done anything above a level 4, so I can't even tell you about level 5. But you can definitely get into like faction battleships and things like that. Some people might even do it in a carrier. Who knows? But sticking to our version, let's go to level 2. I'm just going to go and set destination to the closest one, which is 5 jumps away. Alright. That's it for this episode. Before the next one, I'll be grinding out some missions and also do some exploration on the side to generate ISK for the PvP up ahead. I will film whatever is interesting and skip out what's not. Till then, follow the Capsuleer's top 3 moves. Subscribe, thumbs up for the video, and leave me a comment about how I'm doing. See you next time.